In the frost-covered landscape of Pennsylvania, during November 2001, the discovery of a young physician's body sent shockwaves through the local community. Found in a public park with 5 gunshot wounds, this tragic incident would set in motion a chain of events more devastating than anyone could have anticipated. The narrative that unfolded would reveal dark themes of obsession and psychological manipulation, exposing critical flaws in the justice system that would ultimately allow a tale of supposed love to deteriorate into an unspeakable family catastrophe. At its heart lies the story of Andrew Bagby, a beloved doctor, and his son Zachary, 2 lives cut short by someone who claimed to cherish them both. The roots of this story reach back to the 1960s in sun-drenched Long Beach, California. It was there that an extraordinary chance encounter occurred when Kate, a globetrotting nurse and midwife, found herself lost while attempting to visit Disneyland with a colleague. Their misadventure led them to a local venue where they met David, a serviceman in the United States Navy, who volunteered to guide them to their intended destination. Though petite in stature, Kate possessed an outsized spirit, characterized by her unwavering commitment to social justice and advocacy for those in need. David, tall and analytical, complemented her passionate nature with his straightforward approach to life and sharp logical mind. Their connection was immediate and profound, leading them to exchange vows merely 5 months after their initial meeting. The newlyweds settled in San Diego, where Kate continued her nursing career, while David transitioned from military service to a career in software engineering. Their shared dream of parenthood led to years of unsuccessful attempts to conceive, gradually forcing them to confront the possibility that biological children might not be in their future. Just as they began considering adoption, fate intervened. Kate discovered she was expecting. This miraculous pregnancy culminated in Andrew's birth in Wichita, Kansas. Despite arriving 14 days late, he was born in perfect health, fulfilling his parents' long-held dreams of parenthood. The family later relocated to a peaceful suburban community near San Jose, California, where Andrew spent his early years. His childhood was enriched by regular summer visits to relatives in Great Britain, fostering strong connections with his maternal family members. Andrew's exceptional drive manifested early. At age 15, he achieved the Distinguished Eagle Scout rank, a feat typically accomplished by 17-year-olds and achieved by only 5% of all scouts. Andrew matured into a charismatic individual whose physical appearance, average height, dark hair, and naturally flushed cheeks, was enhanced by his perpetual warm smile. His creative side found expression through homemade films produced alongside his closest friend Kurt, where Andrew often embraced villainous roles, using these performances as an outlet to explore different facets of his personality. Like his father, Andrew harbored a deep appreciation for photography, though he kept this artistic pursuit largely private and personal. Andrew's college years marked the beginning of significant personal and academic developments, including his relationship with Heather Arnold, which progressed to engagement. During this time, he also cultivated his aspirations to follow his mother's footsteps into medicine, often engaging in detailed discussions with her about the medical profession. His path to becoming a physician initially faced setbacks as multiple medical schools denied his applications. This period of rejection took a considerable toll on Andrew's confidence, leading to a period of self-doubt that affected both his self-image and his relationships with family and friends. A fortuitous discovery changed everything when his mother found a misplaced acceptance letter from Memorial University of Newfoundland in Canada. This unexpected opportunity prompted Andrew to relocate to St. John's around 1995 or 1996. His fiancée Heather joined him in this new chapter, also pursuing medical studies at the same institution. The relationship with Heather ended unexpectedly during their first year of university. While the exact circumstances of their separation remained private, the breakup profoundly affected Andrew. Though he maintained his academic commitments and social connections, those close to him noticed a marked shift in his typically outgoing demeanor. This period was characterized by diminished self-worth and uncharacteristic melancholy in someone known for their natural optimism. This challenging phase established emotional patterns that would significantly influence his future relationships, particularly in terms of his emotional vulnerability. The intersection of his professional ambitions and personal struggles during this time would prove pivotal in shaping subsequent events. In the spring of 1999, during his 3rd year of medical school, Andrew encountered Shirley Turner, his first significant relationship since Heather. Initially, his social circle welcomed this development, seeing it as a positive step in his emotional recovery. Shirley Turner, though also attending Memorial University, brought a considerably different background to their relationship. A Canadian native raised in Wichita, Kansas, she had returned to her home country with her mother following her parents' divorce. The age gap between them was significant. Shirley was 38 when they met, while Andrew was 26. Her professional history was marked with controversy. After initially earning an education degree from Memorial University and teaching science through the 1980s, she later pursued medicine, graduating in 1998. Her residency period was characterized by numerous concerning incidents. Supervisors documented frequent hostile behavior, including emotional outbursts, tearful episodes, and baseless allegations of mistreatment. Her medical practice was inconsistent, marked by frequent absences and documented instances of falsified medical records. In one notable incident, a patient refused to return for treatment after an appointment with her. Most concerning was her inability to accept constructive criticism, which led supervisors to avoid providing feedback for fear of triggering volatile reactions. One supervisor meticulously documented feeling manipulated during interactions with Shirley, noting her tendency to deflect discussions about her poor performance by highlighting others' supposed shortcomings. While capable of displaying charm and enthusiasm, she responded to confrontations about dishonesty with hostility and accusations. This same supervisor observed that her interactions seemed performative, lacking genuine personal engagement, marking her as unique among more than 400 residents supervised throughout their career. Andrew's social circle struggled to understand his commitment to the relationship. Beyond the considerable age difference, Shirley's background included 2 failed marriages and 3 children. Her public conduct often crossed social boundaries, exhibiting extreme possessiveness and making inappropriate sexual remarks that created widespread discomfort. Of particular concern was her obsessive fixation on Heather, Andrew's former fiancée. Shirley repeatedly harassed her through phone calls, sharing intimate details about her physical relationship with Andrew, apparently attempting to cause distress and assert dominance over his past romantic connections. These early relationship dynamics between Andrew and Shirley established behavioral patterns that would later prove crucial to the tragic events that followed, showing early indicators of emotional instability and controlling tendencies that were unfortunately overlooked at the time. In 2000, Andrew's career advanced when he relocated to Syracuse, New York, to begin his surgical residency. Concurrently, Shirley established herself in Sac City, Iowa, securing a 10-year contract with Trimark Physicians Corporation. This geographical separation, spanning approximately 1,600 miles, initiated a long-distance relationship that would further expose their troubled dynamic. Their commitment levels showed clear disparity. While Andrew remained focused on his medical duties, rarely finding time to visit Shirley, she frequently made the journey to Syracuse. Her excessive attachment manifested through constant phone calls, alternating between his home and mobile phones in an obsessive pattern of contact attempts. A particularly troubling incident highlighted Shirley's concerning behavior. Following a visit that coincided with Andrew's professional commitments, she claimed to have forgotten belongings at his residence. Using her key, she returned to his apartment and, rather than merely collecting her forgotten items, took numerous personal possessions including his laptop, film collection, and music. Despite this clear breach of trust, Andrew chose not to file any formal complaints. After roughly a year in Syracuse, Andrew realized surgical specialization didn't align with his professional goals. In 2001, he transferred to Latrobe, Pennsylvania, where he discovered his true calling in family medicine. The smaller, more closely knit community of Latrobe offered the perfect environment for his professional aspirations, enabling him to develop meaningful patient relationships and build the community doctor reputation he had always envisioned. In Latrobe, Andrew achieved professional fulfillment, quickly earning his patients' trust and respect, with many specifically requesting appointments with him despite his resident status. This period of career success coincided with a significant personal decision, ending his relationship with Shirley. As his professional confidence grew, Andrew felt empowered to establish clearer boundaries in his personal life. However, the relationship's termination triggered an intensified phase of Shirley's obsessive behavior, as she persisted in attempting to maintain control over Andrew's life through constant contact and emotional manipulation, setting the stage for the dramatic events that would follow. In September 2001, tensions escalated when Shirley announced her pregnancy with Andrew's child. She strategically broadcast this news beyond Andrew, specifically targeting any woman she perceived as a potential romantic rival. Her control tactics included directly contacting Andrew's new female acquaintances to inform them of her alleged pregnancy, clearly aiming to discourage potential relationships. "By the way, your new friend is my baby's father," became her signature phrase when approaching these women. Her fixation extended to Heather, Andrew's former fiancée. Initially, Shirley informed Heather of her plans to terminate the pregnancy, only to later reverse her position and declare her intention to keep the baby. This shifting narrative appeared to be part of a broader emotional manipulation strategy, using the supposed pregnancy to maintain her presence in Andrew's life. Despite the pregnancy announcement, Andrew maintained his distance, refusing to reconcile. In late October 2001, though separated, Shirley attended a wedding as Andrew's plus one, due to an invitation extended before their breakup. Her possessive and inappropriate behavior during the event created widespread discomfort among guests. She maintained constant physical proximity to Andrew, displaying her characteristic controlling behavior. The situation reached its breaking point on November 3, 2001. During a pre-flight lunch at the airport before Shirley's return to Iowa, Andrew confronted her about the pregnancy. She finally admitted fabricating the entire story. There was never a pregnancy. This revelation infuriated Andrew, who declared he wanted no further contact with her, not even friendship. He saw her off on her flight back to Iowa, hoping the 1,600-mile distance would finally end this chapter of his life. Just 2 days later, on November 5th, Shirley made an unexpected early morning appearance at Andrew's doorstep. Her persistent knocking eventually roused him from sleep. Despite his reluctance, her insistence led him to let her in. Andrew needed to work, but Shirley demanded a conversation. Attempting to manage the situation, he allowed her to stay at his house during the day, but suggested meeting later at Keystone Park around 1800 hours for the discussion she insisted upon. At work that morning, Andrew displayed uncharacteristic distress. His colleague Clark, noticing his agitation, inquired about the situation. Andrew confided about Shirley's surprise appearance, referring to her as the psychotic one. Concerned, Clark advised against meeting her alone and suggested involving law enforcement. Andrew dismissed these concerns, assuring he would be fine and promising to visit Clark around 1930 hours after meeting Shirley. This period's escalating events revealed Shirley's use of emotional manipulation and control to maintain influence over Andrew, even as he attempted to establish clear boundaries. Her actions demonstrated behavior far beyond emotional attachment, indicating a dangerous obsession that would continue to intensify, leading to even more disturbing events. On November 6, 2001, Andrew's absence from work immediately raised alarms. Known for his reliability and dedication, his lateness and lack of communication were entirely out of character. Colleagues' attempts to reach him at home and on his mobile phone went unanswered. Around 9 o'clock that morning, devastating news arrived. A uniformed body had been discovered in Keystone Park, at the exact location where Andrew had planned to meet Shirley the previous evening. A police officer gathered the hospital staff in the conference room to confirm the tragic reality. The body was Andrew's. The crime scene revealed brutal circumstances. Andrew's body was found in a parking area near his Toyota Corolla. Death resulted from 5 gunshot wounds, 2 in the gluteal region, 1 to the face, 1 to the chest, and 1 to the back of the head. A homeless individual collecting aluminum cans around 6 in the morning made the discovery. The body bore a light frost cover, with 6 spent cartridges and 1 intact bullet found nearby. Clark immediately provided police with crucial information about Shirley, reporting her surprise visit the previous day and the planned park meeting. When questioned about her whereabouts the previous day, Shirley claimed she had been bedridden in Iowa throughout the entire day. A critical witness emerged. An individual reported observing 2 vehicles in the Keystone Park parking area around 18 hours 10 minutes on November 5th, a Toyota Corolla and a Toyota SUV, matching the exact model Shirley drove. The following fortnight's investigation unveiled substantial evidence. Records showed Shirley had accessed her eBay and Hotmail accounts from Andrew's computer on November 5th, confirming her presence at his residence. She had also used his landline to report a sick day at work. A search of Shirley's Iowa apartment revealed a box of contraceptives taken from Andrew's home, with serial numbers matching a purchase made in Latrobe. More significantly, investigators discovered Shirley had recently acquired a .22 caliber firearm and completed 3 sessions with a firearms safety instructor. The instructor provided pivotal information. Shirley's weapon had a distinctive malfunction, occasionally ejecting unfired rounds, explaining the intact bullet found near Andrew's body. He also confirmed she used ammunition matching the type recovered from the victim's body. When questioned about the weapon, Shirley initially agreed to surrender it, but later claimed she couldn't locate it. Cell phone records definitively contradicted her alibi, tracing her journey from Iowa to Pennsylvania, Chicago on November 4th, Indiana and Pittsburgh on November 5th morning, Cleveland that evening, and back in Iowa by November 6th morning. Even more disturbing was the discovery that upon returning to Iowa, Shirley left a message on Andrew's answering machine, acting as if nothing had occurred, displaying chilling indifference to her actions. On December 12, 2001, authorities finally arrested Shirley, though the U.S. extradition process would prove unexpectedly complex. That same day, Judge Gail Welsh made a controversial decision to grant bail under specific conditions: $75,000 payment, passport surrender, weekly police check-ins, and prohibited contact with 8 individuals, including Andrew's parents and former fiancée Heather. The situation grew more intriguing when Shirley's psychiatrist, Dr. John, assisted with her bail payment. During this period, Shirley made a shocking public announcement. She was 4 months pregnant with Andrew's child. While paternity couldn't be verified until birth, this news profoundly impacted Andrew's parents, Kate and David. The couple made a drastic decision, selling their possessions and using their savings to relocate to Canada, determined to secure custody of their future grandchild. On July 18, 2002, Zachary Andrew Turner was born, with DNA testing confirming Andrew's paternity. However, when Kate and David attempted to visit their grandson in the hospital, Shirley prevented them. Shirley's prolonged extradition process allowed her to remain free and maintain full custody of Zachary. This situation forced the grandparents into an agonizing position, negotiating with their son's killer for access to their grandson. Shirley frequently created obstacles, raising trivial issues that delayed visitation agreements. After persistent efforts, an extremely restrictive visitation agreement was reached. Kate and David could see Zachary for 1 hour weekly under strict supervision. The visits required them to undergo complete searches beforehand, while Shirley remained in an adjacent room. In November 2002, when Shirley was temporarily detained awaiting extradition, she granted Kate and David full custody of Zachary. However, this came with specific conditions. The grandparents had to bring Zachary to weekly prison visits and accept daily calls from Shirley to discuss the child's welfare. During this period, a significant dynamic emerged. Zachary showed strong attachment to Kate, clearly preferring her company. With his grandparents, the baby was consistently happy and smiling, starkly contrasting with his behavior around Shirley, where he often appeared uncomfortable and tearful. This evident preference didn't escape Shirley's notice, who began showing increasing resentment. Tensions escalated when Shirley started questioning Kate and David's care of Zachary, despite all evidence indicating their exceptional dedication and love. She also began making frequent references to Andrew, attempting to extract information about his childhood, even after Kate and David had clearly stated they wouldn't discuss their deceased son with her. On July 18, 2003, during Zachary's first birthday celebration at McDonald's, the situation reached a breaking point. When gift opening time arrived, Zachary, too young to grasp the concept of presents, ran to Kate seeking her embrace. This display of affection triggered a furious reaction from Shirley, who began shouting, expressing rage over Zachary showing more love for Kate than herself. In July 2003, as Shirley's final extradition hearing approached in September, a new series of events unfolded. Shirley began a new relationship after meeting someone at a local bar. However, the romance ended abruptly when her new romantic interest's friends discovered news articles about her involvement in Andrew's murder. Following her established behavioral pattern, Shirley initiated a harassment campaign, bombarding her ex-boyfriend with relentless text messages and calls. In one message, she employed a familiar tactic, claiming pregnancy and demanding he grow up and act like a man by accepting paternal responsibilities. On August 17th evening, Shirley called a friend, stating she was heading to this man's residence with Zachary. According to her account, she had gotten lost and stopped for directions. This marked the last contact anyone had with her or the baby. By August 18th, both had vanished without a trace. Kate and David, frantic, couldn't reach Shirley, who wasn't at her residence. The search concluded tragically at Conception Bay, approximately 20 minutes from St. John's, where a vacationing couple discovered a devastating scene: the bodies of an adult female and an infant. Kate and David were summoned for identification, confirming them as Zachary and Shirley. The crime scene revealed disturbing details. Zachary was discovered face down, eyes open. Police carefully wrapped his body in a blanket, intentionally keeping it separate from Shirley's during transport. Subsequent investigation revealed Shirley had consumed a substantial dose of Ativan, a prescribed anti-anxiety medication. Investigators found a baby bottle near the pier containing infant formula mixed with Ativan. A witness reported hearing an infant crying around 2:30 in the morning. Investigators concluded that Shirley had sedated Zachary and, after securing him to her body with a sweater, jumped from the pier. While drowning was determined as the official cause of death, evidence indicated Zachary was unconscious during the incident, sparing him suffering. In a final manipulative act, Shirley parked her vehicle near her ex-boyfriend's residence, leaving photographs of herself and Zachary, along with worn clothing, apparently attempting to implicate him in their deaths. The investigation quickly eliminated his involvement. Later autopsy findings contradicted her pregnancy claims. Kate and David chose cremation for Zachary, as they had for Andrew, scattering his ashes at locations holding special significance to their son, places where he had shared meaningful moments with family and friends. This devastating double loss would profoundly impact their lives, leading them to challenge the judicial system that had allowed this tragedy to unfold. Zachary's loss marked a breaking point for Kate and David. Their grandson's presence had been their sole motivation after Andrew's murder. During custody battles, they contemplated extreme measures, from kidnapping Zachary to darker alternatives. David particularly considered eliminating Shirley, though he shielded Kate from these thoughts to protect her from potential legal consequences. Following the tragedy, the couple endured such devastating grief that they contemplated ending their lives. However, they channeled their anguish into purpose, resolving to use their experience to advocate for legislative changes preventing similar tragedies. Despite a press embargo carrying potential imprisonment for public statements, Kate and David held a press conference against legal advice. For them, sharing Zachary's story outweighed any potential legal repercussions. During the conference, they firmly stated their belief that Zachary's death directly resulted from judicial system failures, specifically citing Judge Welsh's decisions as crucial to the tragic outcome. The couple also launched a campaign against Dr. John, Shirley's psychiatrist, filing a formal complaint with the College of Physicians and Surgeons. The investigation into Dr. John uncovered professional misconduct in his relationship with Shirley, including providing her bail payment. Consequently, he was fined $10,000 and required to undergo professional counseling. In October 2006, a comprehensive 500-plus page document titled Turner Review and Investigation was published by a child advocate expert. The report concluded Zachary's death was preventable, attributing the tragic outcome to systemic legal failures and inadequate child protection practices. 3 years later, in October 2009, Zachary's bill was introduced in Canada's House of Commons. The legislation modified criminal laws, establishing that courts cannot grant bail to violent crime suspects without substantial justification, with child custody alone insufficient for such consideration. The bill became law in December 2010. Kurt, Andrew's lifelong best friend, created a documentary titled Dear Zachary. Initially conceived as a tribute to Andrew for Zachary to know his father, the project evolved into a powerful advocacy tool following the boy's death. Released in 2008, the film received critical acclaim. 2 scholarships were established honoring Andrew and Zachary, the Dr. Andrew David Family Medicine Scholarship at La Trobe Hospital, benefiting nearly 48 family medicine students, and the Dr. Andrew and Son Zachary Fund, supporting Memorial University students. These initiatives represent not only a memorial to lost lives, but also an ongoing commitment to social change and tragedy prevention, transforming profound loss into a legacy of hope and reform. The story concludes with a reminder to share thoughts in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate notifications for future stories.